Hey folks, CA Rachana Ranade here and I welcome you all to a very important video which is about the new GST rates which are going to be applicable from 22nd of September, which marks the starting of Navratri. I'm sure everyone knows by now that earlier there were 4 rates, primarily 5%, 18%, 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. Now the new rates are 5% and 18%. Additional category for sin goods and luxury goods has been introduced at 40% slab. Yesterday, I think Nirmala madam along with other officials, they held the press conference at I think it was around 10:30 at night, but was very happy. I actually saw it live yesterday. A proper document in the Press Information Bureau has also been released. An FAQ, almost I think 70 to 73 FAQs have been released by the government. So today's entire data has been compiled based on that document. But in addition to the document, I have also tried to focus on which sectors, which stocks can get positively impacted, which sectors and stocks can get negatively impacted, and which may have a neutral impact. But for the government, is it going to have a negative impact as a kickstart or a jerk reaction? Yes, because of lowering GST, their revenue loss is approximately equal to 48,000 crores. But the officials yesterday very clearly mentioned that we are not looking at it as a revenue loss. We believe that if GST rates are cut, the demand will be boosted, the consumption will be boosted, there will be more production, and ultimately our GST collection should ideally improve. But because the GST rates are going to be cut starting 22nd September, will the inflation also cool off? Ideally, yes. Anyways, we are at an 8-year low right now. But as per one of the reports that I read, which was by Citi, they mentioned that inflation could ease as much as 1.1 percentage points. So interesting times ahead. In the next section, we'll talk about which stocks can get positively impacted, which can get negatively impacted, and which may have a neutral impact. Before I move on, a quick shout out for my next Harghar Investor event, which is going to happen at Ahilya Nagar. It's going to happen on the 14th of September at 11:30 in the morning. And we are going to talk about how AI can be used in Marathi for stock analysis, for investment analysis. So it's going to be a really interesting chunk in the entire session. We are also going to talk about stocks or mutual funds, which can be a better choice for long-term investing. I'm going to talk about my target for Nifty. I'm going to also help you understand how much money can be enough for retirement. So many things that we are going to discuss in this session. It's going to be a live face-to-face session, a fun-filled session, a lot of games, selfies, so much more fun, right? So anyone who is interested to upskill themselves, now is the time. Book your seats. Many people have already started booking. They have got their preferred choice of seats. If you want yours, don't forget to check out the links in the pinned comment and in the description box below. Now, let's move on. Stocks which can have a positive impact. First, we'll understand the logic, not just the names. It's not fun, right? First things first, GST has been slashed on cement and on steel from 28% to 18%. Obviously, stocks like Ultratech, Ambuja, ACC, Shri Cement, all these can have a positive impact. Please remember, all these of course are not stock tips. This is a clear-cut news impact on all these stocks. This is not an exhaustive list as well. I'm giving you few examples, right? Now also understand one indirect impact. Because steel, cement, they will have, because the GST will be lowered, they'll be available at a cheaper price, and a sector which is real estate and housing, for them the costs will reduce. If the costs reduce, if they lower the housing prices, in that case the demand may also boost for housing prices, and the demand may also boost for housing, and in that case stocks like DLF, Godrej Properties, Oberoi Realty, all these can see a positive impact. Talking about two-wheeler bikes, bikes which are lower than or equal to 350cc, they are now going to be taxed at 18%. Earlier it was at 28%. Of course, this will have a positive impact. Why? Because the GST will drop, prices will drop, customers' demand may increase. Stocks that can get positively impacted: Hero Motocorp, Bajaj Auto, TVS Motors. If I talk about small cars, cars less than 1200cc for petrol, less than 1500cc for diesel, and which are less than 4000 mm in length, now they'll be taxed at 18%. Earlier used to be taxed at 28%. So stocks which can have a positive impact could be something like like Maruti Suzuki and Tata Motors. Of course, Mahindra and Mahindra could also be one of the beneficiaries. Why not, right? Moving on. Now, so by the way, whatever we talked about right now, these are not our daily expenditure items, right? Small cars maybe once in 5-7 years, two-wheelers maybe once in 3 to 5 years, house maybe once in a lifetime. Now let's talk about our expenses, which could be like more of day-to-day expenses. Something like dairy and packaged foods. If you're talking about ultra high temperature milk, now it is going to be charged at 0%. But if you are like, what about other milk, normal milk that we buy from our doodh wala bhaiya, anyways that used to be at 0%, so no change. Okay, paneer, earlier loose paneer, which again we buy from normal shops, okay, dairy shops, that anyways was under 0%, but pre-packed paneer, or if I talk about labeled paneer, all these used to be into chargeable category, 5% category, now will be charged at 0%, right? If I'm talking about condensed milk, butter, cheese, earlier were at 12%, now at 5%, okay? So even if I'm talking about vegans, anyone who consumes only almond milk, soy milk, and other okay, I ran out of vocab. All these coconut milk, of course, plant-based milk, right? So earlier they used to be taxed either at 12% or 18%. Now will be taxed at 5%. So any specific FMCG stocks, of course, yes, Nestle, Hudson Agro, Parag Milk Food, HUL, all these will have a positive impact. Some people like me who often have the habit of breaking their glasses. For us, corrective eyewear or corrective goggles as well. So for example, if it's a numbered goggle, now they will be charged at 5%, not at 18%. But if it's like shining maracha chashma or shining maracha goggle, in fact 0, no, it doesn't have any power. All these will still remain at 18%. Okay, companies, Titan company, I plus. Okay, if I'm talking about again few kind of luxury items, something like a dishwasher or TVs which have by the way, earlier TVs had a limit. If they were more than 32-inch, they used to be taxed at higher rate. Lower than that were taxed at 18%. But now TVs of any size, be it small size screens, big size screens, all at 18%. GST on ACs, dishwashers earlier, which was at 28%, now at 18%. So stocks with positive impact, Voltas, Blue Star, Dixon, all will have a positive impact. Agricultural machinery, good for our farmers. Agricultural machinery earlier, be it sprinklers, drip systems, harvesters, earlier used to be taxed at 12%, now at 5%. Stocks which can have a positive impact, Escorts Kubota, Mahindra IPC, Irrigation Limited. So all these were stocks with positive impact. In the next section, we'll talk about stocks with negative impact as well as neutral impact. Now let's start with some expenses which we typically do when we are partying, we have some friends over. In such cases, typically Pepsi, Coke, all these carbonated beverages, they were earlier charged at a lower rate, now will be charged at a 40% rate. Energy drinks, these days kids also, I've seen, not good at all, but I've seen kids consume Sting and all such energy drinks. Now they will be charged in the 40% category, happy, but some stocks which will have a negative impact is something like Varun Beverages. Sin items, tobacco, zarda, pan masala, all these used to be taxed at 28% plus cess, now will be taxed at 40%, but here there is a caveat. Yesterday Nirmala madam very clearly mentioned that until certain loans are cleared, till then they will be taxed at 28% only. Now when will the tax be hiked from 28% to 40%? That will be notified later when the loans are cleared. Okay, till then it will remain at 40%. Till then it will remain at 28% plus cess. Okay, stocks with negative impact, ITC, VST Industries. Talking about online gaming, they'll say mare hue ko kitna maroge, but online gaming, casino, betting earlier were at comparatively lower rates, now at 40% GST. Stocks which can get negatively impacted, Delta Corp, Nazara. Okay, and finally premium bikes with more than 350cc will be taxed at 40%, but without any cess. Stocks which can get impacted, Eicher Motors, Royal Enfield. Why didn't I say negatively impacted? Understand, you know, I should be the person who should be crying like anything. Dhasa dhasa radayal paije in Marathi. Why? Because something like luxury cars. So for example, you might be knowing, I recently bought a Mercedes. I paid almost 45 to 50% tax on my car. Why? You'll be like, there's no GST category at 50%. Let me complete. 28% was the slab, okay, for luxury cars. 28% plus cess, and that cess was ranging from 1% to 22%. So I've paid somewhere between 45 to 50%, which is GST plus cess on the car. But still I'm okay. Anyways, it's government revenue. Hopefully government will use it for good purpose, and I'm an optimist person, so I'm not crying that much. Okay, but now there will be no cess and it will be capped at 40% GST. Okay, so for ultra luxury cars, the prices may in fact drop a little bit. Okay, this is about negatively impacted. and now with a neutral impact. You might be like, Rachana, insurance you've put in mixed or neutral impact. Of course, yes. Why? Insurance premiums for individual life insurance policies, for individual health insurance policies, amazing move. GST has been brought down from 18% to 0% directly. Good move, but there is going to be no input tax credit. So you can imagine, I'm a company, I'm an insurance company. Now earlier I used to collect 18% premium. Now I'll collect 0%. Earlier I used to collect 18% GST on premium. Now I'll collect 0% GST on premium. But whatever GST I used to pay, assume I had an office and I used to pay GST on rent. Now I'll not get an input tax credit for that. So it's going to be a cost for the company. Somewhere or the other, they'll be passing on it to the customers. So mixed impact is what I'm saying. Stocks in focus here: LIC, HDFC Life, SBI Life, Star Health. Okay. I hope you have understood the concept of input tax credit. Okay. Beauty wellness, anyways, no listed stocks, at least what I found. If you know any stocks, please let me know in the comment section. GST cut to 5%, but no input tax credit. Hotel accommodation for one room per night, any room between more than 1,000 rupees up to 7,500 rupees. Now GST will be at 5%, earlier used to be at 12%, but with a caveat, no input tax credit. Stocks, Indian hotels or lemon tree. Again, all these are examples, right? Not recommendations at all. And ultimately, pharmaceuticals, drugs still stay at 5%, thankfully, with input tax credit. So, stocks, Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, whatever. All in all, if you ask me, well, is this good enough? Yes, I feel good enough, not bad at all, especially all our day-to-day expenses. They will surely have, we should ideally be able to see expenses being lowered at a day-to-day level. Even when I was talking about, stocks with positive impact, especially something like, biscuits, namkeen, milk products, some, let's say like plant-based products, all these, even by the way, Indian breads, be it khakra or pizza bread, all these are also now are going to be taxed at a lower rate. So I feel that we should see the impact by way of lower outflow for our day-to-day expenses. Has the market given a thumbs up or not? Unfortunately, market has not given a big thumbs up. It did open on a positive note. You can see a big gap up, but look at the red candle. Almost entire gains given away. Almost. Of course, this is the close. So it's today's market is closing at almost yesterday's closing. So somewhere not really happy with this, but anyways, time will tell us whether how this GST reforms will actually bring in the impact. I personally feel this should have a positive impact in the medium to long term. What do you feel? Do let me know in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to share this with your friends. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe to our channel, and you'll keep on getting such amazing insightful videos. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Jai Hind and bye bye. You might have come across such advertisements on various social media platforms. Please note, all of these are fraudsters promising unbelievable returns through stock tips. I don't provide any calls or advisory services. I provide only educational content through my social media handles and through my website rachanaranade.com and rachanaranade.in.